Tell me honestly, when was the last time you saw someone walk into a room, without saying a single word, and still steal the entire world's attention? That's what happened at Frieze Seoul 2025, when Kim Taehyung, BTS's V, appeared in front of thousands of cameras. His fan cam from that night isn't just going viral. It's becoming history. And before we dive deep into this unforgettable moment, let me ask you, Purple Heart, do you believe that one person's presence alone can change the energy of an entire space? If you're new here, welcome to our little family. Hit subscribe because today we're not just watching a fan cam. We're stepping into a story of art, music, beauty, and the kind of aura only Taehyung carries. The world holds its breath. It all started the moment Taehyung's car door opened outside the venue. The rain had just stopped, leaving the streets of Seoul glistening like glass. Fans were waiting, reporters had their flashes ready, and yet, everything felt unusually calm. And then he appeared. Not with extravagance, not with forced effort, but with the same effortless grace that has defined him since the very first time he stepped on stage as a BTS member. That fan cam, the one everyone is watching right now, captures something rare. His slow steps, his calm eyes, the way his black coat seemed to flow with the rhythm of the night breeze. It wasn't just Taehyung walking into a museum. It was as if art itself had decided to walk among us. Have you ever noticed how silence can sometimes be louder than any cheer? That's what happened. The crowd hushed, almost afraid to miss a second of him moving. The duality of V. Now here's where the magic deepens. For years, Taehyung has been called many things: idol, singer, actor, icon. But Frieze Seoul 2025 reminded the world that he is also something more. A living paradox. On one hand, he was calm, almost statuesque, like a masterpiece painted in real time. On the other, every tiny gesture, his slight smile, the tilt of his head, carried warmth that made people feel like he was right there for them. That's the duality of V. Cold elegance and warm comfort in the same heartbeat. When you watch that fan cam, you can't just see him. You feel him. And maybe that's why millions keep replaying it. Beyond an idol. Let me ask you something. Why do we call Taehyung more than just a celebrity? Because he doesn't perform for attention. He exists with it. At Frieze, surrounded by artists, critics, and collectors, Taehyung wasn't an outsider from the music world. He belonged. His presence was a reminder that art isn't just on the walls. It's also in the way someone carries themselves, in the way they can turn a simple entrance into a memory. His fan cam isn't viral just because of who he is. It's viral because it captures a truth. Sometimes art doesn't need explanation, just needs to be felt. And Taehyung, he is that living art. The fans' eyes. Now imagine this. You're standing in the crowd, your phone trembling in your hands, trying to record just one clear second. And then Taehyung looks your way. Not at you directly, not in a staged way, but just for a flicker. That eye contact you'll replay 1,000 times in your mind. That's what armies described after watching the fan cam. One fan wrote, "When he glanced my way, I forgot how to breathe." Another said, "He doesn't need music, doesn't need a mic. Just standing there, he already owns the stage." And maybe you've felt that too, haven't you? That strange connection even through a screen. That's the power of being his fan. It feels like you're part of something intimate, even when the whole world is watching. The hidden music. Here's something fascinating. When you mute the fan cam, Taehyung's movements still feel like they're set to music. Every step, every glance, every pause. It's as though he's dancing with invisible notes only he can hear. And maybe that's his secret. He doesn't just hear music. He carries it. His body becomes rhythm. His eyes become lyrics. His presence becomes melody. That's why watching him is never just watching. It's listening with your soul. The world reacts. As the fan cam spread across the internet, something incredible happened. Fashion critics called him the silent runway. Art journalists described him as the piece everyone came to see, without being on display. And fans. They simply said, "That's our Taehyung." Isn't it beautiful how the world can give 1,000 complicated titles, but to ARMY, he remains the same? A brother, a comfort, a dream. The man behind the aura. But here's the twist in this story. Beneath all the grace, Taehyung is still Taehyung. Behind the fan cam, behind the flashbulbs, there's the boy who once dreamed of singing for his grandmother. The young man who used to laugh with his BTS brothers until his eyes disappeared into crescents. That dual reality is what makes him so magnetic. You can admire his aura, but you never forget his heart. And that's what Frieze Seoul 2025 reminded us of. Art is only beautiful when it has soul. And Taehyung, his soul shines through everything. What this moment teaches us. So here's a question for you. Why are we so drawn to this fan cam? Because it isn't just about Taehyung. It's about us too. It teaches us that grace doesn't need noise. That beauty can be simple. That presence is more powerful than perfection. And maybe, just maybe, it teaches us how to carry ourselves too. With quiet confidence. With gentle strength. With the reminder that sometimes, walking slowly is still the fastest way to touch hearts. The legacy of a fan cam. Years from now, when we look back at 2025, people might remember Frieze Seoul for its art exhibitions, its paintings, its sculptures. But armies will remember the fan cam. The way the world seemed to pause just for him. The way millions of strangers across the globe felt connected in the same heartbeat. That's the legacy Taehyung leaves. Not just through albums and performances, but through fleeting, unforgettable moments like this. The final word. So let me ask you one last time. Did you feel it too? The way his presence reaches across the screen into your chest, reminding you that beauty isn't about being loud, but about being true. That fan cam wasn't just a recording. It was a reminder of why we love him. Why the world loves him. Why his name, Kim Taehyung, will always echo with art and grace. And maybe, as you carry this story with you, you'll find a little more courage to walk into your own rooms with that same quiet confidence. Because if Taehyung has shown us anything, it's this. Sparkles you don't need to shout to be unforgettable. Glowing star outro and call to action. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe, because we're building a space where Taehyung's beauty, BTS's legacy, and your emotions all belong. Purple Heart, until next time, remember this. You are art too.